This podcast is not affiliated or endorsed by anyone at Zaum Studio or anyone involved in the creation of Disco Elysium. Three Detectives in a Trench Coat contains spoilers for Disco Elysium: The Final Cut. If you have not played the game, proceed with caution.
Disco Elysium is a game about sex, drugs, and disco, and politics, and violence, and drugs, and sometimes those drugs are used by children, and sometimes the violence is aimed at children, and generally is a game for 18s or over. Proceed with caution, as we will be discussing themes within the game.
This episode was recorded on the 27th of January 2023. We present NuKdNDBlk.
I'm so glad we did that.
It was simply to allay your fears. To allay your fears from years and years, and put them into jars of pears.
Oh, crap, sorry, I just spilled coffee on myself.
Oh,
That's
no.
a great start to the podcast.
That's important juice.
I know, but it was only a little bit. Ollie, I don't know how this keeps happening, but whenever we sort of interact with each other online, like when you're like in the chat on my stream or doing a recording like this, I seem to have now always had like the Thunderbirds mug that I own. I don't remember bringing it into my house. I don't know, like, I think it must have been because it was at my parents' house. I remember that being a thing, but I think at some point, like, the mug must have changed hands, and now I have a Thunderbirds mug.
I mean, here's the thing, it's very Kanan feels for a mug to just appear in your home.
It is, isn't it? It feels very...
It's a little middle below, but it's very Kanan feels.
It's very Kanan feels.
I'm getting a bit annoyed, actually, because you guys are undermining all the hard work I did of going up to Glasgow, breaking into Dev's house, putting the mug there every day.
You made a...
Wait, every day, as in you put multiple mugs. It's like a different mug each day.
If you look around your house, there are multiple Thunderbirds mugs. Three detectives in a trench coat. Three detectives in a trench coat.
Hello, welcome to Three Detectives in a Trench Coat.
Oh, we keep forgetting to do this.
Yes.
Well, we talk about Thunderbirds. Organically as well. It's not like something we keep going back to deliberately. It just organically happens.
FAB.
So, we are Three Detectives in a Trench Coat. My name is Oliver Morris.
I'm James Curtis.
And I'm David Devereaux.
I think that might have been the first time we've said our names.
I mean, I think it's the first time we've said our names that close to the beginning of the podcast.
That might be. I mean, like, yeah. So, if this is your first time, well done. But why are you starting here? But also, well done.
Yeah, it's like episode 6 now. Surely, like, how much filler did you think we put in this show?
Oh, it's nothing but Watland Orb. This show.
What's
Well, it was interesting. I used to live in a place made of Watland Orb. Like I say, lived there. Like my parents have a house in France, So, and it had like a little barn attached to it, and the barn was made out of Watland Orb. And I used to sleep there in the winter, and in the summer and winter, and it was so cold. It was so like just sort of permeating like through the blankets, kind of cold, and loved it because it meant I didn't have to sleep in the main house with my sisters and my parents, and I was like, yes, got a place all to myself. I made my first album in that barn.
Oh
wow!
This became quite a nice story.
Love the idea of making music in a barn.
How was your first music experience? Actually, this is an interesting because you're talking to two musicians. What were your first music experiences? What were your first musical creations?
Well, just to gaze deep into my navel here, I recorded a lot of it while watching The Big Bang Theory, and so the album ended up being called The Cooper Hypothesis, because of Sheldon Cooper and diddle-da. And it was crap, but it was it was appropriately crap because I was 17 and this was my first time fiddling with things, and my dad had a love for a particular song which I wrote called "New Kid on the Block," spelt NuKdNDBlk. NuKdNDBlk or something like this. It was a dance track, so it was like going, and it was like me going, "New Kid on the Block," and all this kind of, really funky and all this, but it had a piano solo in the middle, like a grand piano solo, but I was playing it on like a keyboard. And so I had a modulator wheel on the edge of the keyboard. So there's just a bit where you hear a grand piano going da 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 da, like I was bending the entire piano into a glissando. And that always tickled my dad. I'll put that at the end of the episode.
Yes. Oh my god, I can't wait to hear it.
But don't think you're getting away, Dev. What was your first musical output?
Oh god. This is going to get very naughties very quickly. So the first music I made was really bad, sort of like Muse rip-offs, and
Nice.
it was not good. It wasn't good. It was very very bassy. The structure was all over the place. I didn't quite know what effects were and things. So it was real bad. I think those recordings are lost to time now, unfortunately.
Oh.
But
No.
they weren't good. They weren't good.
Well, I will endeavour to hunt down your Bebo at some point.
The thing is, I remember searching for this at some point because I was also in I think this is probably a funnier story. I ended up playing bass enough that I got the attention of like a couple of bands that were looking for bass players. So the first band I was in was a rap rock band.
Oh wow!
Called Exception, small E, capital X, and
That's so 90s.
No, very
So
very
naughty.
existence, isn't it?
yeah. Well, their music is still, as far as I'm aware, their music is still on YouTube. Let me quickly check. Oh, there is a video of like practicing on a Monday that I. Oh yeah, so they're Exception the band, capital E, small X, on YouTube, yeah, all the songs are there, including clips of live shows and recordings,
Oh my god!
and practices. 38 subscribers.
Wow.
14 years ago. Good
That's,
lord.
that's actually impressive longevity, right? Like in terms of, 38 subscribers when you just started a band is, it's a beginning, but 38 subscribers 14 years later.
There is still a link to indiestore.7digital.com/exception store and myspace.com/exception the band. I'm waiting on those royalties coming in.
Oh, man.
Oh good lord! And James, your first musical was?
Oh god. I'm not sure because I was never a very musical person. I did piano for a year when I was 10. I got grade 1, and I was like, I thought this was good. I thought it was because I'd watched the Marx Brothers and had really enjoyed how much fun Chico Marx looked like how much fun it looked like Chico Marx was having playing piano. And so I was like, oh great, this looks really fun. And I got there and I realized just how good you have to be before you have to stop being structured, before you can stop being structured. And piano is very structured. In fact, all in music it seems very structured when you're first learning it. And I was like, this isn't fun, because so I never really became a music composer. I guess the closest is writing like lyrics for music. I used to really enjoy writing lyrics. I had a book, a wonderful songwriters dictionary, like rhyming words and the like, with an introduction by I think Sammy Khan, who was a lyricist who wrote songs for Frank Sinatra and that kind of period of music. I just loved reading about kind of this history of music. And I remember writing a couple of fun lyrics that eventually kind of spurred my way to writing poetry and writing in general. But sadly, no real musical output. I guess my first actual music expose will be in a podcast I am making at the moment called Paddleboat.
I was going to blow up your spot and say, yeah, so James, when's Paddle Boat?
Yeah. So I'm not sure when Paddle Boat is coming out. It might already be out by the time this is out. But yes, I had a guitar. I've had a guitar for 20 years. I'm not very good at it, but I have a little melody, harmony, tune on there for the intro and the outro, which I have constructed using just the D chord.
Wow, it's a good chord.
A good chord.
Solid chord.
It's a very good chord.
Fun? Solid chord, right? And it's useful because it only has 4 strings on the guitar, and so it's not much. The limited choice means you can be a bit more like you can just play around a bit more.
If you play 5 strings, then you play the A string. Technically, it's an inverted D chord.
Yeah, I haven't done that.
It's a D over A. Is the. Just want to add an extra note to it. Anyway, speaking of music, by the way, can we just take a second to appreciate Ollie's music for Three Detectives in a Trench Coat?
Generally, yes, and this.
It was fantastic.
It was, great music. Well done, Ollie.
It's absolutely perfect. Thank you.
I hate it.
I know. There's nothing like I also were like.
I mean, you can change it. This will still be true.
Sort of like I love this kind of thing. The meta commentary is like, we love it. We haven't heard the real one yet. We loved it. We love the temporary one that Ollie's put in place.
Well, the problem is at the moment is I'm between keyboards. So my keyboard, my cat sleeps on it, and occasionally like tea gets spilt on it and stuff. So so my dad took it away to fix. And he gave me this other keyboard in the interim, but this other keyboard doesn't have a MIDI input.
Oh no!
And Razafraz, and so it only has a USB input. And I'm like, well, USBs are like a sacred commodity to me.
Yeah.
You know, I'd have to get like another USB input, like port, in order to use it. And so I'm just like between keyboards, and it's deeply annoying at the moment.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
But it is what it is. Life goes on. There are more important things that are happening in the world, I guess. Like this video game that we're about to play.
Yes.
For those of you
fantastic segue.
For those of you who've forgotten, we play Disco Elysium, and we then talk about playing Disco Elysium, and that's what we're going to do.
Oh, thank goodness. I forgot we did that.
It's been about a month since we touched it. Over a month? 6 weeks, something like this?
Yeah.
So, we'll probably just be getting to grips with Revishol again, and as I was about to say, what goals do we have? What ideas? What are we gonna do? But like, fuck if I can remember what I was doing last time I was in Revishol.
I had to go speak to some boys. I had to do that. I had to go speak to some boys.
Yeah. So I think I'm about to meet the boss character. What were you saying, Ollie? Sorry.
So you're meeting the boss, you're meeting the boys, and I'm meeting my maker. Because I'm the only one who hasn't died yet.
Oh, your goal to die.
Your goal to die.
My goal is to die.
That sounds very in character for the policeman, unfortunately. But I don't think that's the point of the game.
Alas. Well, I'm going to try and... I don't know what I'm going to try and do this session. I'll find out what I'll do this session. I'll let you know.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's been so long since we've played. Although there's been some great... You've shared some great, like game-related content.
I'm a meme lord when it comes to Disco.
I love how you described that as game-related content. I think that gives it far too much worth.
Yeah, okay.
Goodness me. So,
right.
Shall we dive in?
Yes.
Let's dive in, yes. Are we still just going to do an hour today?
We'll do an hour.
Amazing.
Just in and out.
In and out.
All right,
in and out, no messing about.
See you in an hour?
Yes, we'll catch you in and out.
Good luck, detectives.
Good luck, detectives.
FAB. Hello, it's me, Oliver Morris, the tallest and therefore most sinister of the three detectives. You were just listening to Amber's band. I know, it's very cool, isn't it? Just to let you know that we have a Patreon, that you can support us on Patreon. We talk actually about the Patreon in this episode in a sort of pie in the sky, something we might do kind of way, but we actually did it. You can get behind the scenes talks, you can get behind the scenes, sort of bonus content, you can get any jingles that we make, And an episode's about a week in advance. So, yeah, there's just sort of stuff there. And it supports the show, stops us from running like real ads. And you should do it. And as a bonus, we'll probably put some of Amber and mine's music on there because it's fun. All right, okay, enjoy, have fun, goodbye.
It's Friday night and it's time to go. The music is blasting up the stereo. Time to forget, no point in regret. In case I don't know where I'll be tomorrow. I'm having a blast. The city is mine. Oh, whoa, yeah. I'm going too fast. I lost control and I'm about to crash.
That did not go well for me at all.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
I had to run from like one side of the map to the other twice because I failed multiple checks. And yeah, like so like
Check failing is frustrating. I do in past games I have definitely experienced that.
Yeah,
and
like
today, but also
I did make progress, but you know, at what cost? You know, I think this game does. I feel like we're going to be talking about Claire Everard quite a bit because James finally met him. I think I like how the game basically tells Everard what's going on at all times, so you can't. It's very difficult to get around him. It was frustrating, and also like the how it's kind of like I like how the game is shaping up to kind of show how ideologies get perverted and exploited by people, and the people that always lose out in those things are ordinary people who are just trying to get on with things. I think that's really interesting. But yeah, failed multiple checks. Lost multiple things.
No.
So I did make progress, but it didn't feel very good.
James, you sound like the cat who got the cream.
Well, no. So I finally met. I think I met Everard. Here's the thing. I don't know what to do next, but I did meet Everard.
Cool.
You've both met him, right?
We can now talk about Everard.
We can now talk about Everard,
so
Claire.
There were some questions I was like, there are some. This game constantly gives you moral questions. And it's really awkward. Like almost every other game, you're like, whatever, it doesn't matter. But in this game, like the moral questions always matter.
Yes.
So you know, it's like, do I sit in the chair? I'm like, fine, I'll sit in the chair. Oh no, now this whole conversation about me come about the fact that I sat in this chair. Like, what if I stood?
To jump a bit ahead, I met Everard for the second time, and Everard goes, "No need to sit on the no need to sit in the chair, Harry. You've already done that."
I can now send a meme that I sent Dev the other day, but I can now send it to the whole chat, which is, Harry, of course it's a real tunnel. I wouldn't waste valuable Union time painting a fake tunnel on the wall for you to run into. What would be the point of seeing you sprint into it so hard your body gets all crushed up like an accordion? I'm a busy man, Harry.
Oh god, I do not like Everard.
I hate him.
He's such an uncomfortable character, and I think I like that so I think for quite a few people his presence will be there as I like unions but I don't like this person. And I think it's this kind of really awkward time in British society to introduce a character like this in a video game. Because
what I love is that he's got a British accent.
Yeah,
one of the few people with a British accent.
For future listeners, in the late 2022, early 2023, there were massive numbers of strikes going on across the entirety of society.
You could say the same of the 70s, though, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Yes. But I guess what I'm saying is I don't think people in the future will be listening to this in the 70s.
That's true.
It's unlikely.
But I'm saying that like I can see this archetype being a sort of 70s pastiche.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
yeah.
I do get that. Especially with a lot of the magazine that we find in the guard person's the useless guard person's hut.
Oh, don't call him useless.
No, it's not. It's not. It's fine. Sorry, the hut is useless because the. I just had a conversation with Renee that which suggested.
I think we all. also had a conversation with Renee today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I asked him about his partner, and it didn't particularly go anywhere. But it was like, it was a quest, and I completed it. Yeah, meeting Everard was all. Did you two take the check?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
All right. Okay. Good. Me too. Phil, it just feels
it's
like
comically large.
well, there's also I think like I've already taken money from much less powerful people.
Yeah.
I took money from Joyce, so it just balances things out if I take money from Harry too.
Yeah,
I think
it's all for RCM funds anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's to fund ongoing police operations. This is fine. It's like when the police ransack a house and sell all the shit in it.
I like that we learn our surname as well. I mean, it's uncomfortable, but it's like,
Mr. Dubois.
we are Harry
Yeah.
Dubois. How nice. It's like,
Dubois.
get some firm footing on how to introduce ourselves to future people. Yes, absolutely. And I like that's a good name because this is very much a character who always relies on the kindness of strangers.
Ah, nice. That's a nice pull.
So I imagine there's some intentionality there in terms of the design. When you sit in the chair, there is it's like, yes, please sit down, and then your character kind of shifts to the sides and sits down. And as he sits down, there's a kind of squeak as he goes in the chair, like ooh. It's a nice little bit of sound design there. Just a little squeak added that I would not have needed at all if it hadn't been there. I would not have noticed.
Oh my gosh, I've just done some because you mentioned etymology briefly, so I just went and looked up what Harrier Dubois means. So a harrier is a person who engages in persistent attacks on others or incursions into their land. So someone who harries you. And then Dubois is of the woods.
Yes.
So it's a man who comes out the woods and hassles you.
Okay.
That's a detective if I ever heard a name.
Yeah, I guess. Or some sort of Witcher-themed monster. What
No, we can't talk about The Witcher. That's a Patreon exclusive.
Okay. Well, you've got little teasers for the Patreon
Little
content.
teasers.
So I suppose this means we're going to be advertising the Patreon in this episode then?
I guess so. Oh,
Or
God.
just teasing the advertising to come, maybe. Who knows?
Ooh, we have to make trailers for adverts now. Amazing. I love living in the 21st century. It's great.
We live in a capitalist society. We live in Revishot after all of this got
the
discussed and
revolution.
settled. After the revolution and the post-revolution, we don't have a militia anymore. We've haven't had a militia for 1,000 years.
I did a module in policing when I was a young'un. And I'll say no more about it. But yeah, no. I'm trying to find when were the Bobbies? When did the Peelers turn up?
The Peelers.
Robert Peel, Metropolitan Police, 1822,
Yes.
not 1849. 49, I think, is the Ripper murders.
Yes, so you're definitely police around for that.
Yes, being incompetent.
I saw a documentary about it called Ripper Street.
I read an interesting graphic novel called From Hell, which is also about the Ripper murders.
And our friend Karim is in a very good Jackie the Ripper.
Jackie the Ripper. It is good. Kareem's excellent. Go listen to it.
So what are our thoughts? So back to not Harriet Dubois, but
Yes.
but Everard Clare.
Yes.
He's very fat. He very much owns the chair that he sits in.
Yes.
I only mention this because it's one of the first things that the narrative says is, oh my god, look at how huge this motherfucker is.
Yeah. There's also an interesting tidbit about the container that he's in as well that got revealed to me this time round that I think I'll hold on for now until later. But yeah, it's I don't know how the two of you feel about it, but I think as much as for all this game is interesting and has interesting things to say, because it's dealing in these very broad strokes, it does generalize, and I think sometimes it sort of generalizes in the wrong way. It kind of does caricature, and I think sometimes it does it sort of in the wrong way there. I don't know what you guys think about it.
It's interesting that the game. I think the game, it doesn't push a sort of socialist agenda, but it leans. Well, when I've been playing it, I tend to lean into it. It's kind of nice to have these sort of twin figures of, you know, the sort of the rational centrist of Joyce Messier, you know, money is everything. But then, you know, and it's like, well, who's the alternative? And it's like, Harry,
Yes.
go do some work for me. Come on, greater good. Let's get cracking.
Yeah,
So,
I think.
out of curiosity, what did you both do immediately after talking to Everard? Because I immediately went to go and talk to Joyce.
I sort of ended up talking to Joyce, but it was a bit of a. I did a couple of other things on the way, if that makes sense.
Oh, did you take the quest that Everard sets you to get your gun
Uh,
back?
yes, but I feel like I'm not going to say anything about it until you've done the quest. Because
I have not taken it. I said, no, I'm not interested in round by you, Mr. Everard.
Oh, okay.
I think I still have the option of going back and taking it.
Groveling.
Maybe. But it felt a little. I didn't like the idea of like, there's a door you have to open and leave open. I'm like, I don't know. No, I'm not going to assist in the assisted murder of this person. That's not going to be my role in the police. Thank you.
It's just a door, somewhere. Harry. Just open a little door for me.
There's a line somewhere.
This is what I
think
hate,
I honestly crossed it when I punched a child, but that was an accident.
I can
Oh,
excuse.
you can't roll that back. You smacked that child.
I can excuse child punching, but I draw the line at opening someone else's door.
Absolutely. Apparently.
You've got to draw the line somewhere.
Yes. No, it's just a line. Even in this fictional game world.
Yeah, I do feel like I think this game is very good at making you feel like you're being taken advantage of all the time. And
that's what people want from their leisure time.
Yeah, but you know, I could just do that in real life. I don't need to play video games. I'm a freelancer. Yeah, like I think it does that job very, very, very well. You know, I think it does all tie together really nicely. But yeah, you do spend a lot of time being like, why am I doing this? Why, like this, just to maybe get a lead on something, just to maybe get some information about something it's really good. Like, I mean, like to be like, because I'm a bit sort of tired today. I was talking to Claire, talking to Everard at the end, and I was very much just like, I don't have the energy to try and work my way around this. Like, just sitting there going, sure, yeah, whatever, yeah, cool, whatever. Like, just going, oh, yeah, like I'm a good socialist, and good socialists do this, and this is why I'm doing it. And it's like, cool, sure, whatever. Like, you're not, but sure, whatever. Like, ugh. Yeah.
So, on Joyce's role as a capitalist, you talk to her, you find out she describes herself as an ultra-liberal. I love the option. So I find there was I can't remember what the line was, but in conversation with Joyce, I was like, do you consider yourself a moralist? And I was like, yes, that sounds about me. And I clicked it, and it's like, I think the way a devout man of the center. And I was like, the funny thing was that in that option box was like, yes, I do, no, I disagree, and the third option was I refuse to select anything. I refuse to make any strong opinions about anything. Like the game acknowledges that you've not pushed to the right, you've not pushed to the left. If you're about to not push for the center, you're not playing this game. So it's like, yes, it was just nice. I felt finally comfortable, even though I hate the idea of defining it as for people who refuse change, as opposed to incrementalism, which I think has been mentioned a few times, which I like. And I don't know, I felt included. In a way that I'm not in real society.
I mean, it's interesting that you guys kind of had the sessions you had. I had a very productive session. I didn't expect to have a productive session. But I chatted to the Hardy Boys, and then they were like, oh, check out this tape. And I was like, cool. And so I checked out the tape. had to buy a thing to check out the tape. Found out what kind of cockatiel I would be, and then kicked down a door and found this swag pinball coat. So it leads us to our first segment. Check that drip. Check
Oh
that
shit!
drip.
Sorry, give me
Check
2 seconds.
that drip.
I need to load the game back up.
I love that you left the pause there as if we were going to have a little piece theme music for Check That Drip. Like we're on some sort of game show.
Yeah, check that drip. Check that drip.
It's time to check that drip.
What's that man wearing on his head? What's he got draped around his neck? Where'd he get that awful silly coat from? It's time to do a drip check. I am currently wearing Dick Mullen's hat, the neat office shades, the pinball maker's coat, the horrific necktie, fingerless gloves, Boulogne Labeur jeans, green snakeskin shoes, the tape player, and the Ledger of Oblivion.
You're wearing the tape player. Oh, I see. You're holding it in your pockets, you mean, or something, or held.
I'm holding the tape
Okay.
player and the Ledger of Oblivion.
Probably should put some of these tools back, actually. But now that you're asking, I'm wearing Dick Mullen's hat, Samarizian lounge jacket. I've got so many points in conceptualization, and all the conceptualization tests are so hard. Shirt, a t-shirt man from Heimdall.
Nice.
Poor Lom labourer jeans. I actually look really good. Flip-up glasses, quote the auditor, unquote. Horrific necktie, perhaps obviously. I still want to replace that at some point. Yellow gardening gloves. The green snakeskin shoes I just put on to add some more composure points after that awful chair experience. And I'm holding the frite bag to collect tar. And I'm holding a pry bar, and I don't know why I'm holding a pry bar. I just happen to be holding a pry bar. From ages ago, from doing something ages ago, I'm holding a pry bar. I might put it back.
So I am currently wearing, from top to bottom, I am wearing flip-up glasses. They're called the Auditor, +1 logic, -1 authority.
Yes.
I am wearing the horrific necktie. I am wearing fingerless gloves. I am still wearing the green snakeskin shoes. I am wearing a signal blue navy coat.
Nice.
Oof, it looks good. I swapped out my white satin shirt for a intersolary dress shirt.
Nice.
It's just a cleaned ironed version of the shirt that I got before.
Yep.
Poor L'Homme labourer jeans still, and I'm currently not holding anything. But I do look pretty swag. I love this naval coat. I want it in real life. It has a +1 to suggestion, which is labelled "I Captain," and it has a -1 half light, which it describes as officerial pose, which I think is very funny.
Good drip, guys. You guys are rocking it now. You've changed out of your misery attire into some swag attire.
Wow! Sorry, I've just seen the picture. Ollie, you look amazing.
Thank you.
Oh, you had a photo. How cool. Let's take a look. Now, oh wow. Yeah, that's... Okay, I'm finally getting a sense... With the rain in the background and this look, I'm finally getting a sense of film noir.
Yes. Oh, very swag. That is a good-ass naval uniform.
It's such a good jacket, right? It's like double-breasted. It's I found it in
It's just lying around.
someone's flat, I think. It was when I was when I was going to try and see the smoker on the balcony. And then I went all the way through the building, right up to the thing, and then they said, "Oh, they're not here." I'm like, "Oh, right, okay." But I did find this killer signal blue naval coat.
Nice.
Oh, interesting. I found the same coat outside.
I suspect that was probably where I found it. I just can't remember. I'm just remembering wrong.
Yeah, it's outside. It's outside. It's on the other side of that building. So yes, I do.
If listeners are wanting a reference, I look a little bit like Dr. Robotnik if Dr. Robotnik wore blue instead of red. ahead.
Yeah, definitely, yes. The coat looks a little bit like the style of the Beatles front cover of Sgt. Pepper's.
You do look like a Sergeant Pepperer right now,
Yes.
with the circular shades.
Yes,
and the,
actually, that's a much better analogy. Yes.
and look at this detective.
Oh wow! I love
Pry-bar
it.
in hand.
Where did you guys get the hat? Like, my God.
I don't remember where I got the hat.
Those cowboy boots.
That's the same green shoes you've got. They just look good enough.
Oh, they just look good in those jeans, man. God damn. Look at those suave motherfuckers.
Oh my God.
I mean, like, the fritter bag, though, really...
Really pulls the look together.
Yeah, that is
it's like, yes, I'm a professional. Also, here's my collection of bottles I'm collecting so I can afford to have my hotel room tonight. Incidentally, have you tried to take the check to Gart?
No. What happens?
Nothing happens. I went up to Gart and was like, I have a check. Because that's what Everard says. Everard says, I have a comical AR check. It should cover your problems with Gart. And I went to Gart and he doesn't. There's no option to give it to him. And I was like,
you have to exchange the check at the... Yeah, you have to cash it.
At Fritter, I guess?
No, at the pawn shop.
Oh, okay. Great. That's helpful. That's my... Okay, I've got a thing to do next time. How exciting.
Cha-ching.
There we go.
Do we want to talk about the thought cabinet?
Yes, let's talk about the thought cabinet.
Do we have a jingle for... Do we have a name for this segment yet?
Inside my thoughts, I have lots of thoughts. Inside of my cabinet of thinking.
Perfect.
Oh, see.
Thinking the thoughts. Thinking the thoughts. Thinking the thoughts. Thinking the thoughts.
Amazing. Great.
I feel slightly mocked, but only slightly.
No,
I loved
that's
it.
great.
I was just surprised by how, genuinely just came up with it, tune and lyric. Even the book, you came up with a book on the spot.
Oh, James, you theatre nerd.
Absolutely. So I think, incidentally, in talking about this, I think we should talk about the ones we are not not including, as well as the ones
Not installing.
installing, adapting,
Internalizing.
internalizing. That's exactly the word. Yes, because I think that's an interesting question. Although, I've got 10 options here of thoughts I can install. I've only selected 5, but internalized 5. But I've got options for 10.
Yeah, I've got 8, and I've internalized 4, and I'm researching 1.
All right.
Oh, I do have a skill point, actually. I could probably internalize another one.
Oh, how many skill points do you have right now?
I'm spending, but I got one right at the end, but I spent one on authority to then fail a check, which is pointless. But I've only got one more now.
I'm all out of thought points at the moment.
I have 5 skill points on hand.
Oh, some people.
I was saying, like, I'm not passing checks, and I've got 5 skill points on hand. This is my problem. But it's frustrating because, like, the checks that I don't feel I could spend one skill point and pass something. I feel like I could spend 4 skill points and pass one thing. Because everything seems like all of my available checks are like between like impossible and heroic or something. So I don't have any medium level. The only medium level difficulty things I have are things where I've got only 1 or 2 skill points in there to begin with. So I'd have to invest those skill points. Nah.
So, is anyone internalizing a thought right now?
I have 2 thoughts that are currently being internalized. One of them is the opioid receptor antagonist.
Oh wow!
This is an amazing one. I've decided to become a narc.
Oh no! What?
You can see it so clearly in a dark alley behind a boîte de nuit. A young couple having sex on a shopping cart. Their eyes are bloodshot and their brains fried. They're in the throes of narco-mania. On the top floor of an office building, a young exec takes a drag from a short spliff and his eyes roll into the back of his skull. He too is a narco-maniac. Something needs to take a stand. The world needs a narc. The world needs you. Don't worry, you can still smoke and drink, and those aren't real drugs. I got 14 minutes left on that. And then I've got an hour left on Caustic Echo, which I will chat about last.
Amazing. So I'm currently internalizing derealization. And I'm good. Actually, I'm going to use the skill point I just got to probably unlock another one and either do rigorous self-critique, which while you're researching gives you -1 authority because you're an embarrassment to the party, apparently. Or Mazovian socioeconomics during the research bonus is -2 visual calculus, looks like reaction, which I think is very funny. So I'm going to do either one or both of those. I'm doing derealization because when I so at the bottom of the thing it says this feels like the most important of all the thoughts, the one you truly must complete. So I'm kind of like, I think that's interesting. I think I will internalize this. So I've still got an hour and a half on that one.
Nice.
Oh, that's a good idea. I got that last time. I just didn't read down the whole problem, so I missed that sentence. I think I just sort of read a bunch of names that I didn't recognize and didn't get to the point where it's like, oh, it's important that you didn't understand these names and you should try to.
It's interesting. So I'll read you what it says. Revishal Special Administrative Try again. Take two. Just the typewriter sounds of fucking ever are. Revishal Special Administrative Region, Lacalio, the Insulindian Ocean, Coalition Government, Insulindian Mission Command, name after name and none of them is familiar. They seem real, but something is wrong. You feel like a kid looking at stickers on the fridge. Trouvant, the Apricot Company, World Games 34. You can almost see your hand reaching out for them. Scratch at the corners, see if they peel loose. This feels like the most important of all the thoughts, the one you truly must complete. So I'm kind of...
that last sentence does feel like a really big hint.
Yeah,
of like, hey player.
Wait, hang on, sorry, there's a thought called homosexual underground? How do I get that one?
You'll get it. You just keep trying to talk to that man in the white shirt, the smoking man.
There's also another one called finger pistols brackets 9mm, which is very funny.
It's like, you were promised a gun, this much is certain. This is why you became a cop. Yet here you are, loitering around with idle hands like some sorry-ass loser from the street. Suddenly you're supposed to be solving cases by what, like talking to people? How are they going to believe that you can protect yourself and them from savages without a firearm? This ain't right. You need to think around this problem and you need to snap your fingers at people as you do. And it's just like, you don't have a gun, why not have finger pistols? Which I don't know. It feels a little... 70s.
What, in this disco game?
Yes. I just got the option of magnesium-based life form, and I'm not going to take it because I feel like it's another...
Oh, yes, I have that one.
Why not take drugs to make the life easier? But it just... It feels like, oh, why? How did I get that option? I don't know.
Eating a bunch of magnesium.
Oh, right. To improve morale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that when I sat on the chair. Because I was like, genuinely, it was like, fix your morale or you will die. I'm like, okay. And because I didn't know how it worked, I clicked it twice, and so I just ended up magnesium in my body. That explains that.
I got sorry cop today.
Oh, really?
Because I apologised to someone, and I was like, I think you're a sorry cop. And I was like, fuck off. And they think, oh, fuck off. Well, then, no, you're not a sorry cop. You're a dickhead cop.
Oh, dear. I'm excited I think that you have this one as well, the 15th Indo Tribe. I think we've talked about it before, but it's nice. It's genuinely like you get a small amount of money every time you click one of those green information buttons, and I quite like that.
You get 10 cents for every green orb clicked.
Yeah. Do you have that one?
Yeah, so Wild Pines, Feld, Cuplice, Tricentennial, Villiers, LaSalle, names of the Revolutionary Indo-tribes spring into your head. Set loose in the meditation of Wild Pines. Royal monopolies, octopuses and swordfish, most of them gone now. YPB, Expander, San Baptiste, Brighter Star, Lum, Resplendent, East Insulindic, Welter, and Esclaste. But isn't one missing? Wait, no, there were only 14. Then why do you feel like there was a 15th Indo tribe? Because there was is the solution. The 15th Indo tribe was comprised of 8 kids from Farnborough and North Jamrock, running from wild dogs in the valley, hiding scents under rocks and stealing clothes off clotheslines, sometimes even the copper wiring in phone lines. You may have been one of them. This must be a childhood memory. The 15th Indo tribe was your Indo tribe, set to rule Insulindi. The rest of the kids are dead now, car accidents and drug overdoses. Only you remain.
I think it is, on back to derealization that Dev's doing, it is interesting that there's no, like almost all of these have a research bonus which is harmful to you in your playing. That one does not. There's yet another kind of game design hint that this is one you should probably take.
Hang on. Oh yeah, it doesn't have a temporary. Yeah, which makes me feel like it's kind of game and it's like game important, if that makes sense, rather than like.
Well, it can't be game critical because it's still an option.
Maybe, yeah. So.
Well, this has been fun. We'll see you all at some point in the future, probably when something has happened. And we will be playing Disco Elysium again. But until then, we are your 3 detectives in a very warm trench coat. I'm Oliver Morris.
I'm David Devereaux.
I'm James Curtis.
And that is all. Get out of here. Go on, scram! Go! Skew! Hey! Hey!
Don't you know there's a war on?
It's a class war.
Don't. Oh, God.
New Kid on the Block.
Thank you for listening to 3 Detectives in a Trench Coat. The 3 detectives are James Curtis, Oliver Morris, and Amber Devereaux. The podcast is edited by Oliver Morris and Amber Devereaux with original music by Oliver Morris.
New Kid on the Block.
To find out more about the detectives and some of their previous casework, check the show notes.
New Kid on the Block. New Kid on the Block. New Kid on the Block. Say that I have not experienced everything that is necessary to experience. I may not have seen everything, I may not have heard everything, and I may not know everything today. But I think this is excused by my deliberate newness to the aforementioned block. To clarify, I'm the new kid on the block. To clarify, I'm the new kid on the block. New kid on the block.
Thank you for listening. Love you. Bye.